Do you like stuffed peppers? I do. Today I'm making a vegetarian high protein version of stuffed peppers. Add 1 cup of soya chunks to heavily salted boiling water. Turn off the heat, put a lid on, and let this sit for 10 minutes. The soya chunks are fully hydrated. We need to drain, rinse once, and squeeze all the water out. We want to remove the excess water from these, so just grab half of a handful and squeeze. You can see how much water was in there. I've placed the soya chunks in my grinder jar and I'm just going to pulse this 3 or 4 times. Let's ground it into little pieces. This will make up most of the filling for our stuffed peppers. Heat about a tablespoon of oil in your frying pan and add a half of a cup of chopped onion and a half of a cup of chopped capsicum and a half of a teaspoon of salt. Saute on high heat until your onions change color. The onions are translucent, so add 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. And our spices, 1½ teaspoons of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, a half of a teaspoon of mango powder, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1/4 teaspoon of red chili powder, and 1 teaspoon of garam masala. Add the ground soya chunks. The soya chunks are a little on the dry side, so I have 1 very small boiled potato. So just mash this in. The potato is fully incorporated. If you find this is too dry, you can always add a tablespoon of really thick dahi or maybe some cheese or your favorite hot sauce. Just like a tablespoon, nothing more. You just want this crumbly mash texture, like something you could form a patty or a tikka out of. You don't want a wet mash. While the stuffing cools, we want to prepare our chilies. Now, you could do this 2 ways. You could cut a slit, or you can use your vegetable peeler that has a scorer edge and hollow out your chili pepper. These are Bhavnagari chilies, so I'm not too worried about the seeds. If they add a little bit of spice, it's okay. I think I'll probably need about 4 chilies based on the size of these guys. You can see the seeds in there. If you take your tool, has that pointy edge, you can actually scrape those chili veins right out. And most of the seeds will come. I've stuffed a few of these already. So you're going to need some kind of a spoon with a slender end that will fit in the bottom of your chilies. You can spoon this in slowly and push it down, or you can make kind of a cylinder shape. Just don't make it bigger around than your chili pepper is. And then use the bottom end of your spoon and push it down in there. And it should reach all the way to the bottom. And we just pack more in and fill it all the way to the top. The chili peppers are stuffed, so it's time to add them to the pan. I've heated 1 tablespoon on high heat. We want to blister these all the way around. We don't want to turn these too early, so just give it a little jiggle every once in a while to make sure they haven't stuck. It looks like it's nice and blistered, so we can safely turn it over. Once the peppers are sufficiently charred, turn off the heat and add in water. We don't want to shock the pan with the dahi. We need it to cool off a little bit. I've whisked a half of a cup of dahi. It's a little on the sour side. It helps make this tangy. You want to work this around a little bit in the bottom of the pan before you turn the heat back on. Try and incorporate any of that oil. The loose masala that's fallen out of the chili peppers as well will help season this. Looks like quite a bit fell out of one of these chilies. That's okay. I've put the heat on low, and once this comes to a simmer, I'll put a lid on this and let it thicken for about 4 minutes. I think my stove's low is still too high. It looks like my sauce is split. If anybody has any tips for keeping your sour curd from splitting when the heat gets turned on, let me know. This just needs a pinch of salt and a little lime juice. Rotate these so the salt gets mixed in. Serve this as a side or your main course with either rice or roti. Now these can be a little messy to eat, so I've plated mine directly on my chapati. And I'm just going to give it a little roll here. So think of this like a stuffed chili burrito type situation. Oh my gosh. The chili is nice and tender and perfectly cooked. You got that tanginess from the yogurt, and the soya chunks are perfectly seasoned. It's more sweet than it is spicy, so if you're worried about how hot the masala is or the chili pepper, don't be. I think I might end up with more of this outside than in my mouth, but that's okay. The larger ones, you may have to cut them in half or in quarters. So if you're looking for a new way to incorporate more chilies or just a little bit more protein into your vegetarian diet, give these a try.